Good day, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You are watching Israeli News Live. Wars and rumors of wars, the famous passage quoted by Jesus himself out of Matthew's Gospel, written in the 24th chapter. Are we starting to see the very evidence, the early stages, or even are we in the latter stages of these particular pre-tribulation events? It is clear that we already see the earthquakes in diverse places and the sea roaring, but we're really beginning to see the world heat up against itself, nation against nation, famines in different places, food riots, and everything else that you can imagine around the world. And today, it's heated up once again. In an article on the Moscow Times, the U.S. cannot stop Russian nuclear missiles. Deputy Prime Minister of Russia stated in an interview, Rogozin, his name, was on a television program, a state-controlled Russian program in Moscow, and the Moscow Times covered part of this article. He said, U.S. missile defense cannot stop Russian nuclear weapons, a top minister said, in an apparent reversal of Moscow's policy of slamming U.S. anti-ballistic missile capabilities as a dire threat to Russian security. Deputy Prime Minister Dmitry Rogozin, who oversees Russia's military's industrial complex, boasted of unspecified breakthroughs in Russian military technology during a talk on the state-run Россия 1 television channel on Sunday night. Well, we will not disclose those technical details to anybody, Rogozin said, according to the comments quoted by Interfax news agency. But I can tell you one thing: the work conducted today on combat missiles technologies shows that neither the current nor even the projected American missile defense system could stop or cast doubt on Russia's strategic missile potential. U.S. missile defense has long been a sore point between Moscow and Washington. In the U.S. 2009 scrapped plans for missile defense bases in Poland and Czech Republic and switched focus to sea-based capability in part of the mollify Russian position. Russia had insisted that missile defense is a threat to its own security, a view aggressively advocated by Rogozin. During the stint as Russia's ambassador to the U.S.-led NATO alliance in 2009 through 2011, the U.S. and the Western military analysis maintained that the system is designed to protect it and its European allies from Iranian missiles, and that Russia was not a target. Following Russia's annexation of Crimea last year, U.S. Senator Joe Donnelly, a Democrat from Indiana, asked at an April Senate hearing whether the U.S. should strengthen missile defenses in Europe in response to Russia having invaded the Ukrainian peninsula, something that the Russian people are clearly denying, although it is obvious that they are backing with weapons to the Ukrainians, much like the United States backs the weapons for the rebel that's trying to topple Assad in Syria. It's just a war between nations and more rumors of wars that will eventually break out into Armageddon, Gog and Magog, and a whole string of other biblical prophesied wars that are coming. And if that doesn't top off the list there, the United States President Barack Obama visited India's Prime Minister and has vowed to give them nuclear weapons, helping them to defend their own country. Or is it the United States is surrounding Russia from every point, still trying to bring the Russian nation down to its knees? It only reminds me of what happens when a bear is hungry in the springtime. Never fails. When a bear comes out of hibernation in springtime, they're at their hungriest. They've not eaten all winter. Much is happening in Russia now. With inflation on such a escalation, lines are lining up for people to buy food, and it's becoming harder and harder to do so. That Russian bear, much like the grizzlies in real life, is going to be very hungry come this spring. And when a bear is hungry this spring, it doesn't matter the size of the creature that he must face, he is willing to kill its young in order to stay alive. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun with Israeli News Live.